Good morning, ninth class. I am Zishan Hassan, your physics teacher, and in this lecture, we will study about the motion of freely falling bodies and will solve some numerical problems. This is a lecture of week 5. Motion of freely falling bodies. The motion of freely falling bodies, to understand this, when we see in the history, there are many scientists to understand the motion of freely falling bodies, but the most prominent scientists who have the immense amount of work on this field is Galileo. Galileo was the first scientist to notice that all the objects falling freely have the same acceleration independent of their masses. He dropped various objects of different masses from the Leaning Tower of Pisa. He found that all of them reached the ground at the same time. The acceleration of freely falling bodies is called gravitational acceleration and it is denoted by g. And here you can see that all the equations of the motion, here we deal with the acceleration is replaced with the gravitational acceleration when the object is freely falling. This is replaced with the this a is replaced with the g when the object is freely falling and it is denoted by the g. On the surface of the earth, its value is approximately 10 meter per second square for bodies falling down freely is positive and is negative for bodies moving up. We will take the value of g is positive if the body is falling toward the earth, and we will take the value is negative if the body is moving away from the earth. And this we will use in solving your numerical problems. Example 2.14. A stone is dropped from the top of a tower. The stone hits the ground after 5 seconds. 5. The height of the tower. The velocity with which the stone hits the ground we will have to find. Solution. Initial velocity, as we can see that when we drop the stone, at that moment velocity of that stone is 0 and the gravitational acceleration is 10 meter per second, and we take the value of the gravitational acceleration is positive because the object is falling toward the earth. And here the time taken is 5 seconds. Height we have to find, and also find the final velocity. In the first part we have find the height, and for the height we have the third equation of the motion, that we have the second equation of the motion with where s is equal to vit plus half gt square. By putting the values in this equation we have find the height, that is 125 meter. Applying the equation vf square minus vf square is equal to 2gh, we find the vf square, and vf is equal to value is 0, so vf square is equal to 2500 meter square per second square. By taking the under root we find the final velocity is equal to 50 meter per second. Thus the height of the tower is 125 meter and it will hit the ground with the velocity of 50 meter per second square per second. Here is another example. A body throws a ball vertically up. It returns to the ground after 5 seconds. Find the maximum height reached by the ball. And the velocity with which the ball is thrown up. Initial velocity we have to find. Gravitational acceleration, time for up and down is equal to 5 seconds, and here we take g minus because the body is moving toward away from the earth. Velocity at maximum height when we see that when we throw a ball upward, at some extent bird began to move back toward the earth. At that moment when ball or body began to back toward the earth, the velocity is 0 at that point when it returned toward back the earth. So that's why vf is equal to the 0, and we have to find also the height that attained by the ball. As the acceleration due to the gravity is uniform, hence the time t by that ball to go up will be equal to the time taken to the come down. So t is equal to the 1 over t, 5 second, 2.5 second by solving this formula. Applying the equation 2.5, we get the initial velocity 25 meter per second, and applying the equation 2.26 we get the height to 31.25 meter. Thus the ball was thrown up with a speed of 25 meter per second, and the maximum height to which the ball rise is 31.25 meter is the height that was attained by the ball to when we throw up in the air. Here is a summary of this chapter that we have studied in chapter number 2. First of all, we study the body is said to be at rest if it does not change its position with respect to the surrounding, and the body is in rest if in motion if it changes its position with respect to the surrounding. Rest and motion are always relative, and there is no such thing absolute rest or absolute motion. It means that we cannot say that something is in rest or something is in motion, because both are relative. Motion can be divided into the following types: translatory motion, rotatory motion, and vibratory motion. In a translatory motion, body moves without any rotation, and in rotatory motion, body spins about its axis, and in vibratory motion, a body moves to and fro about its fixed position. We define velocity as the rate of change of displacement. Average velocity of a body is defined as a ratio of its net displacement to the total time. If a body covers equal displacement in equal time intervals of time, however small the interval may be, then its velocity is said to be uniform. The rate of change of velocity of a body is called acceleration. A body has uniform acceleration if it has equal change in its equal velocity of equal intervals of time, however small the interval may be. Physical quantities which are completely described by their magnitude are only known as the scalars, and physical quantities which are described by their magnitude and direction are called vectors. Position means the location of a certain place or object from a reference point. The shortest distance between 2 points is called the displacement, and the displacement distance covered by the distance traveled by any direction of body in unit time is called speed. If the speed of a body does not change with time, its speed is uniform. Average speed of a body is a ratio of the total distance covered to the total time taken. And here are another definition that you can see and read on yourself.